Hey everybody, I'm CJ, and if this article on Bleeding Fool is anything to go by, it looks like the comic book industry may finally be taking some action on the Whisper Network. This is the network of what's the best way to put it? Activists and SJWs who basically go around trying to bully people out of their careers, out of their jobs, out of the industry, really, bully them straight into, in some extreme cases, taking their own lives. And uh, for reasons I can't say I fully understand, this to them, it's almost like it's a sport. And for whatever reason, for the longest time, this was just a known thing in the industry, and it wasn't something that really too many people were interested in doing anything about. But like I say, if this Bleeding Fool article written by Penny Parker is anything to go by, it looks like things might be changing with that. Now, I'm not even going to try to summarize everything that Penny Parker, the writer of this article, is trying to say. Number one, because there's a lot here. And number two, I really do recommend that you check this article out for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description. But the long and the short of it is not necessarily in fact, not even close to everyone, but some of the more prominent members of the Whisper Network, the in recent times, perhaps some of the loudest and some of the most obnoxious members of the Whisper Network, it seems like they're finally getting called out on the carpet at various of these companies. And obviously, there could be legal implications to what's going on here. Who's to say that some kind of an investigation isn't happening right now? So obviously, there's not a whole lot that's known at this moment. And so, like I say, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, and I don't want to go into very much of it, because, like I say, I'll leave a link in the description. But one of the things that I do want to say is that, I mean, yeah, in a sense, I guess I'm happy about this. I mean, I guess this is good news, but think about this, guys. How long has this been going on? I mean, everybody points back to 2017 as the year that the SJWs just went completely fucking insane. And maybe that's even true, all right? But the fact is, I mean, it's kind of hard. We all know that it is happening, but people seem to disagree on when exactly it started. But what I think we can all agree on is that whenever it started, this would have been a known thing, all right? Everyone would have known what was going on inside the industry. Maybe the readers and the fans and the collectors and basically the outsiders, maybe we didn't know right away that something was up. But I would think that basically once the Whisper Network got embedded deeply enough inside of the industry, its power was known. Even if it had no name and no face, everybody in the industry would have known. Now, guys, just think about something for a minute. At a minimum, this was going on since 2017. I've seen people say that it was starting up as far back as 2008, 2009, 2010, and around there. The effects of it, again, were not generally known to people outside of the industry, which is to say us, but people inside the industry, they knew that something was going on, and nothing was done all through 2008 and just going from there, right? It could have been as early as that, but even if it was 2017, that's ground zero, or year zero, I suppose, for the Whisper Network. That's when everything started. Think about how many years this was going on, again, as a known thing, and nobody did anything about it. All right? Guys, I've worked in a wide variety of industries over the years, and I'm here to tell you This kind of behavior would not be tolerated in any other industry. Um, I've been in, I worked at a web hosting company for a pretty long time there. And you want to talk about a place where loose lips sink ships? I mean, that was almost like a battle cry. It, it was just, I remember that there was a sort of a clique of employees at this web hosting company who basically made it their business to try to torpedo people who were basically coming up for promotions, and not even like super duper special promotions either, just kind of run of the mill, not even middle management. I mean, you're working your way up to middle management, like that kind of promotion. And this clique would basically torpedo all of that stuff, or they tried to anyway. And within about 2 or 3 months of people becoming aware of the fact that they even exist, every single one of those people got fired. All right. They got rounded up and fired, all of them, with, I think there were like 6 or something like that. And the firings began on Monday and they finished up the following Friday. All right. That is how quickly the company responded to it once they kind of figured out what was going on. Which, admittedly, for a small company that's got kind of limited resources, I guess I can buy that. You know what? Maybe it would take a little while to figure all that out. Aside from that, I've worked in retail. I worked for a tech company downtown. All of these different places, every time they found scandal mongers and gossipers and well, not gossipers, gossips. I'm reading Whisper here, so forgive me. Every time they uncovered gossips and things like that, action was taken. Not necessarily that people got fired, although obviously that happened, but more that people were basically told, hey, knock it the fuck off. All right, we're trying to run a company here, and this isn't your private little knitting circle. All right. I've worked in the legal world, and I hope I don't have to explain why exactly this kind of shit is not going to fly in the legal world. But let me just say, for my vast and extensive years that I spent working in the legal world, believe me, nothing like this, nothing even remotely like the Whisper Network ever happened at any law firm that I ever worked at. And I've worked at a bunch. All right. Now, you work at a law firm, you're going to meet a lot of asshole attorneys. You're going to meet alcoholic attorneys. You're going to meet divorced attorneys, drug addicted attorneys. You name it. Basically, every kind of possible attorney that you can imagine, you're going to meet if you work at a law firm for long enough, right? Because they cycle those people out like you just wouldn't believe. What you will not meet in a law firm as an attorney or in any other position is a gossip. Because if anybody knows just how much damage gossip can do, it's going to be a lawyer. They're not going to put up with that. The minute you even try, they're going to instantly figure out, oh my God, like the amount of risk and exposure that we're facing right now because this person over here can't keep their fucking mouth shut. No, okay, they're out. All right. No, especially in the legal world, nobody would tolerate this. Okay, it's not going to fly in retail. It's not going to fly in the tech world. It's not going to fly in the web hosting world. It's not, this kind of behavior is not going to be tolerated literally in any other industry that you ever work in. All right. Action is going to be taken, and it's not going to take 4 fucking years in order to get there. And so look at how long it's taken. And this is my point. Look at how long it's taken for DC, and let's face it, it's really Marvel. I mean, I'm not saying that DC is completely innocent here, but it seems like every time you turn around, it's always somebody who works at Marvel that's spreading rumors and gossiping. Ooh, so-and-so was seen talking with so-and-so. Yikesies, not a good look. They seem to all want to be at Marvel. And I mean, it's like on the one hand, that's kind of mystifying. And on the other hand, actually, it makes complete sense because when these people think of comics, they think of the movies they've seen, all of which are Marvel. So, hey, Marvel is comics and comics is Marvel. And maybe it's logical that they would have wound up there. But either way you want to look at it, it seems that Marvel really does seem to be the worst offender in terms of hiring these people and keeping them on staff for God knows what reason. And the amount of time that it's taken for them to finally put pedal to the metal on getting this fixed, this wouldn't fly anywhere else. All right. Any of you who are who are watching this, you tell me. If you run your own business and you come and you find out that somebody in your employ is they basically got their own little knitting circle going, their own little whisper network that basically ruins people's jobs, their careers, their reputations, denies them advancement opportunities. How long would you? And for the moment, just forget about the legal exposure that you may or may not be facing, for all anybody knows. Just from the standpoint of common human decency, how long are you going to put up with something like that? And for most people, the answer is not very long. If for no other reason than gossip and scandal and stuff like that is not good for business. I'm running a business here, and I don't need a bunch of feminist cat ladies to basically shit all over that. I mean, ain't nobody got time for that. So, and yet in the comics industry, this was tolerated at a minimum for 4 years. It could be as long as, like, what are we talking about here? Like 12 years or 12 or 13 years, depending on how far back you want to go in the calendar. Minimum 4 years, possibly as long as 13. And all this time, nothing. Nothing was ever done. Nothing was ever said. Just nothing. And it's enough to make me think that at this point, guys, it's like, why even bother anymore? I mean, there's an argument that in 2017, just going purely by numbers, the comic book industry, maybe it wasn't in an ideal place, but this is a manageable place. I mean, comic sales in 2017, we can work with that. We can find a way, at the very least, to stay at the sales numbers that we're at right now, maybe even grow those sales. And it's like, if you were ever going to take action on this, it just seems to me like 2017 was just about your last chance, because from that time on, the numbers declined pretty organically, I would say. And then, of course, when you start getting into 2020, there's something else that happened that year that definitely harmed comic book sales. And so trying to fix this problem now, I mean, yeah, sure. If these people end up facing the music, look, better late than never, I guess. But this idea that this is going to be the thing that finally saves all of these companies and perhaps even the industry itself, if we can just fire these people, or for that matter, even bring them up on charges or investigate them, or just whatever it is that needs to happen here, that's going to be enough to save the entire industry. I mean, that to me just seems like wishful thinking. I almost kind of wonder, as I was reading this article, why now? Like, why would you do this now? And the most I can figure is these companies, maybe they realize, you know what, we've got maybe a couple of years left at most before we have to turn out the lights. So maybe what we need to do right now is just settle some scores with people that have caused maybe not all of our problems, but a lot of our problems, settle the scores that we've got with them. And then that'll be it. Lights out. And we can all go out of business and call it a day. I don't know for sure that's what's going on. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm kind of at a loss to think of any other reason, number one, to wait so long. And number two, to act right now. Like, what's so special about right now? Why this moment as opposed to, like I say, 2017? And the most I can figure is these companies, maybe they're thinking we don't have anything but like 6 months or a year, 2 years maybe left before these companies just completely fucking implode. So we're going to grind some axes with who we know are the guilty parties. And after that, just let the chips fall where they may. So I don't know. This may not be the comic book industry roaring back to life. This could be their last gasps, and with hate's, they're spitting their last breath out because, what's the quote? To the last I grapple with thee. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake I spit my last breath at thee. This is maybe a parting shot. So, I don't know. It's not like I've got a crystal ball or anything, but it just seems like this is what you do when you already know the ship is crashing, everything's on fire, and you can see the ground beneath you, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer. And you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and kill the guy sitting next to me because I always hated his guts anyway. So, I don't know. Just kind of makes you wonder. So, anyway, that's that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, comment, like, and share this video because it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.